Hello everyone, this is Laura of Crafty Not Shifty, and today I am bringing you day 4 of my 12 Days of Christmas series. Apologies for the delay between videos. I'm hoping to get everything back on track and share all 12 of my videos with you before Christmas. And for today's video, I'm going to be using the Waffle Flower Sweater Weather stamp set. I think this is really lovely. I love the whole ugly Christmas jumper trend that happens around Christmas time, and I just think it's great to have these kind of big chunky retro sweaters. And if you can have an ugly pattern on it, great. If you can have a retro Christmassy pattern, then that is also great in my opinion. So for these, you could definitely use the stamps from the stamp set to complete the inside of the sweater. You could use just your marker pens to colour it up however you like, or you can do what I'm doing here and take a scrap of a scrap of patterned paper. This is some Doodlebug patterned paper, and you can just go ahead and stamp your sweater directly onto this patterned paper. Now I'm using my Misti to get really crisp stamping. You'll notice that I actually double stamped this, and I used some Gina K amalgam ink for my stamping. So I'm going to go ahead and take the back side of this patterned paper and then just repeat the process again, just stamp down this awesome sweater onto this kind of fun, it's not quite a polka dot, but this fun kind of spotty background. And for this one, I'm actually going to stamp again onto a little seam piece. So I wanted this particular jumper to have different coloured sleeves compared to the imagery that's along the chest. And I thought that these little tiles from the Doodlebug pattern paper would work perfectly for this. So I'm kind of alternating between sweater and jumper. We would use jumper more so where I'm from here in England. I believe sweater is more American, but we would use sweater as well, so you'll kind of hear me use both. So I went ahead and fussy cut each of these out, and you can see how this will paper piece together for that little scene. And then just so this doesn't look quite so flat and to add a little bit of realism to this piece, I'm just taking some of my Spectrum Noir alcohol markers and just adding some shadowing around the outside edges and then blending that out with a lighter colour. For the neck space here, I'm just filling it in with a darker coloured marker, as if this is darker on the inside. You could definitely use kind of a blue colour for that blue sweater on the left and more of a white colour for the one on the right, but I decided to keep it simple and just use dark for each of these, and then use a nice red for the collar and the cuffs and the waistband. So the red that I used was a little bit too bright, I felt, so I went over it again just with a darker colour, and you can definitely layer up your alcohol markers in this way and it won't affect them whatsoever. So then for the whiter jumper, I decided to use a grey marker for my shading, and I just went ahead and did the same thing, just lay down a line of that colour and then blended it out with a lighter version. So nothing super fancy, you could definitely use your pencils for this or just whatever you have to hand, but I do think it makes a big difference just having a little bit of shading there. So that little tile piece was ever so slightly smaller than the space I needed, so I kind of just faked it with a little bit of marker pen at the top there, and when you stick this piece down you kind of can't really tell unless you are looking for the mistake that actually that little tile doesn't quite reach the top of the collar. Okay, so now we've finished with our Christmas sweaters. I've got a pale blue card base, and I'm using a clarity stencil brush and just applying a nice kind of fine and gentle, I'm not sure those are appropriate words for ink blending, soft, that's what I'm looking for, a soft layer of ink blending over the top of this piece. And this is Tumbled Glass Distress ink, and it was a little bit too light for my liking, so I actually went ahead and sprayed some water onto my stencil brush and then just did the same thing again, and that allows the colour to intensify a little bit more. And I do think these stencil brushes are great for getting really soft colour blends. You can see how beautiful that looks just with some quick and easy blending through a stencil. So now I'm going to take this piece. I lied earlier, it wasn't a card base, it was a card panel, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it to a card base and then arrange my Christmas sweaters. So I'm just kind of laying everything down here and seeing how I want to fit everything together and picking out my sentiment from the Waffle Flower stamp set. And I've also got these cut apart sentiments here from the Doodlebug patterned paper, and I'm going to go ahead and just carefully trim out this little Merry Christmas. I think the pattern of it and the colours of it work perfectly with what I've already got on the card, so I decided to go ahead and cut that out and use that also. So now that I've decided on the elements that I want to use on the card and the layout design that I want to use, I can go ahead and commit everything with some glue. I'll use some double-sided adhesive using my ATG here for the card panel. And I'm just running that along the outside edges and then one line down the middle. I do tend to use a lot of adhesive when I make a card. I like to think that they are going to kind of hold up, and certainly a Christmas card, it's going to be on display for a while, and you don't want anything kind of falling apart when it's being posted or anything like that. So I do tend to maybe overdo it with the glue, but it's how I like to work. So then I'll go ahead and use that same double-sided adhesive on this first Christmas jumper. I love this one with the Christmas trees. I would wear both of these. I would definitely wear each of these. I think they could be really cute, just cozy Christmas jumpers sitting by the fire. It's perfect. It's exactly what you want. Just a silly little Christmas scene. I actually haven't bought a new kind of Christmas outfit, in terms of like a cozy outfit. So maybe I need to do that. I've not got too long left. So both of my jumpers are stuck down flat to the card base, and I've popped up the Merry Christmas cut apart with some scrapbook adhesive foam squares. And then I'll go ahead and use some VersaFine Onyx Black to stamp down my sentiment. And I'm just going to go ahead and double stamp it so that black is really super intense. You don't have to do that step, but because I have the Misti, I like to take advantage of being able to do that. Okay, so this card is finished. I would love to hear in the comment section below whether or not you partake in a ugly sweater competition or ugly Christmas jumpers, or just really cute ones like these ones here. And that is today's card finished. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, let me know by hitting the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd love to have you subscribe. You can go ahead and tap my logo, and you can ring the bell to be notified each time I post a video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.